Hello, friends, and welcome to a special Saturday night edition of what was going to be NFL Thursday, Week 16. I am your host, as always, Anthony Florio, joined by good old MF Michael Fletcher. I'm not sure if Michael Bullock will be joining us or not. He's usually out on Saturdays. He has plans and whatnot. If somehow he does come in, then we'll catch him up on what he missed. If not, then hopefully we'll have him Monday night for Ridiculously Raw. But, friends, I got to tell you, 3 games today, and all 3 of them have been unreal. But I think the one right now that has been the most captivating of them all, you got to be watching this Rams and Niners game. I mean, oh my goodness gracious. I mean, Shakespearean drama, 5-star classic. And if you believe what's going on here?
It's unbelievable what's going on. Incredible game, no doubt about it. And, I'm just going to say it. This is actually, it's going to set up for a situation where there could be a game-ending situation at the gun right now. So, I mean, yeah, unbelievable what's been going on.
17 seconds remaining in the fourth, and the game is tied at 31. I mean, when these two teams met earlier this year, this game was, it was somewhat of a dud. But here, oh no, this has been a fun game from start to finish. And matter of fact, all 3 games have been very, very fun to watch. Let me tell you. Started today with the Houston Texans and the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. Houston Texans winning that game by a score of 23-20. And with that win, the Houston Texans have officially clinched the AFC South. And they'll be one of the top 4 teams in what Mike Tirico likes to call the tournament. And they'll be guaranteed at least one home game in this upcoming playoff. And then our game, MF, man alive,
Great game.
Another great one. The New England Patriots, yes, they got them again. They beat the Buffalo Bills 24-17. And for the 11th year in a row, the New England Patriots win the AFC East. I got to say that game was better than the other game that we did in Week 4. I mean, I think it was a little more fun. It was a little more higher scoring. There was a little more Shakespearean drama here. And
if you're Buffalo, you're kicking yourselves because you had a chance.
Yeah, absolutely.
First and goal at the 10, 2-minute warning, and you basically blew it.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, you blew it. You had the chance. You had a golden opportunity to knock off the Patriots, and you let it go by the wayside.
But I'm okay with it. Here's the reason: Buffalo 6-2 on the road. We've proven time and time we can win on the road. So we'll wait and see. But Niners going for a winning field goal here, 33-yard attempt. It's over. The San Francisco 49ers have defeated the Los Angeles Rams 34-31. And with that win, it guarantees that Niners-Seahawks game next week is going to be one of the most high-stakes games in regular season history. Oh, wow.
It's now essentially winner take all.
NBC, get on the horns right now. Make that the Sunday night game.
I'm pretty sure Rockefeller Plaza in New York is talking with the league offices right about now about the flex scheduling. So and Anthony, normally I would never do this, but I'm gonna pull executive order on this one. I want to do Niners and Seahawks if it's the Sunday nighter next Sunday night, because there's nothing else that's relevant in the AFC. Sorry.
Yeah, the AFC is, and you know what? Why don't we invoke a cross flex here? I mean, both networks do it all the time.
Yep.
And normally I would be the high-bound traditionalist here and say not really. But a game of that magnitude, and considering there's hardly anything, I mean, the AFC's almost all but done. But,
if Pittsburgh wins tomorrow, then basically it's over. The AFC's locked.
yeah, all we got to do is just figure out seating. I mean,
Yeah.
that's pretty much it. But nonetheless, though, what a great day of football, man! What a great day of NFL football. All three games with ending within a one possession score, and Texans winning the South, Patriots winning the East. Buffalo, I'm almost certain is going to be locked into that number 5.
They're locked in 5 now. Yeah, no doubt. I don't
They'll get
even
the
think
they'll-
Pittsburgh. I don't even think Pittsburgh
Wow.
can even catch them
No,
because
Buffalo
not
beat
only
Pittsburgh.
because Buffalo beat Pittsburgh, they got the head-to-head, and I think they even got a better record against them. So, no, without a doubt, I truly believe that
Buffalo will be the 5,
Buffalo will be 5 regardless.
and we'll
And
probably end up going against Houston most likely.
which, if you really think about it, to be real honest with you, it's not an easy game, but I would not be scared.
We're on the road.
Yeah.
We're on the road. We were 6-2 on the road. We've won big time road games this year.
So I wouldn't be too intimidated going on the road. And against Houston, I'm sorry, not the strongest. If it was Kansas City, I would be worried. But
no, we're not beating Mahomes. No,
but because it's Houston, I like my chances against them. Then I like my chances against
Hunter's chance.
So yeah, there's a legit chance you could steal that game.
Absolutely. I mean that, and as Uncle Woody always used to say on Around the Horn, puncher's chance. So we definitely have a puncher's chance if it comes down to it. But man, what a great day though. I mean, all 3 games down to the wire. Houston winning. They get the South. Patriots winning the East for the umpteenth year in a row.
11th in a row.
Yeah, I'm just being sarcastic.
I know.
But, yeah, status quo and best for business wins out again. So hopefully one day they'll get theirs. So that's all I can say. So, but anyways, and then this last game though. This last game was the show stealer. I mean, 5 stars, Shakespearean drama at its absolute finest. 49ers on that winning drive, they converted not 1 but 2 3rd and 16s. Are you kidding me?
There was one, and it was the one to set up the touchdown, to set up the field goal.
Wide open.
Emmanuel Sanders, if he would have gotten up quicker enough, who knows? That could have been a touchdown. Absolutely. Like it was a bomb downfield. And he caught it, got up, but I guess he was ruled down by contact. But oh man, if he would have gotten up quick enough, I think he would have had reservations for 6. Like it was that good of a touchdown.
Absolutely, but nonetheless, Niners win, got the outcome we wanted, and now San Francisco and Seattle look out. Next week. And that's going to happen regardless of what Seattle does tomorrow against Arizona. Even though we'll get into that in a little while, but let's not waste any more time here. Let's get into the remaining games of week number 16, and it's already off to an exciting start. So all you games tomorrow and on Monday night as well, y'all got you got 3 tough acts to follow. Let me tell you right now. I can make an argument. All 3 games were 5-star Shakespearean drama classics. All 3 of them. But the Rams and the Niners, though, that was the show stealer. That was the game of the day. So, and the night. So well done. All right. Let's start it off. We're going to start it off with our early slate. We're going to see this is a game that, well, speaking of cross-flexing, here you go. Here's an example right here. Game that would be seen on CBS has been moved over to Fox. Jacksonville Jaguars squaring off against the Atlanta Falcons, Mercedes-Benz Stadium, Atlanta, Georgia. This is over on Fox. We're going to have Joe Davis with Brady Quinn and Jenny Taft. Yeah, Jenny Taft from the college coverage. She'll be there. We have the Falcons opening up as 7.5-point favorites. I'm not at all surprised about that. And looking at the series history between these two, it favors. Went a little too far. Okay. Favors. Well, actually, no. It's even. The series is tied, 3 games apiece, 3-3. But the Falcons have won the last 2. They last met 4 years ago, 2015. They met in Jacksonville. Atlanta won 23-17. Their last meeting in Atlanta was in 2011. Falcons won going away 41-14. Jacksonville's only won in Atlanta once, and that was back in 1999. Beat them down 30-7 at the old Georgia Dome. That was when the Jags had the best record that year, that 14-2 team that came up short. But anyways, that's all the schematics for that. So just okay. Here we go. This is for the Jags and the Falcons. Just okay. Here we go. There it is. This is Atlanta's final home game and a chance for the Falcons to leave a strong last impression as they fight to keep Coach Dan Quinn's job. Losing the final home game would be a bad look for him, and the players know Quinn's position is on the line. Falcon tight end Austin Hooper will surpass 100 yards receiving. Opposing quarterbacks have a 126.9 passer rating when targeting tight ends against the Jags per ESPN stats and information data. That is the second highest in the league, Arizona at 137.6. The Jags are coming off a game in which Oakland tight end Darren Waller caught 8 passes for 122 yards. Jaguars have 4 losses by 20-plus points this season, tied for the most in the NFL, and since Week 9, the Jags' minus 113-point differential is by far the worst in the league. Nothing at stake for these teams. Both teams have been eliminated from playoff contention. Jaguars have already fired Executive Vice President Tom Coughlin, and it's hard to imagine that Coach Doug Marrone's status will be impacted by strong performances in the final 2 games of the season. Over the past 5 seasons, Jacksonville is 8-2 against the spread as an underdog of at least 7 points, regular seasons plus playoffs, including an outright win last week in Oakland. Meanwhile, since 2012, Atlanta is 3-13 against the spread as a favorite of at least 7 points. Atlanta overwhelming FPI favorite, 77%. I'm going with the Atlanta Falcons to win this game. My final score, I'm going to go 30. I'm going to go. I think it'll be a little bit closer. I'll go 27-20. Atlanta over Jacksonville. So nothing more to say. MF, your thoughts?
Yeah, no doubt about it. I think this is going to be a very good game. I think it's going to be a solid one. But just like you said, I got to go with the Atlanta Falcons. I just feel like they're going to have they got the hot hand here. I really got nothing more to add. So, yeah, give me Atlanta as well. I really got nothing more to say. And, yeah, Anthony, it's all yours. Next game.
And when it comes to our side of the ledger, MF, this is the game that we agreed was the number 2 game on our side.
Yep.
The Baltimore Ravens squaring off against the Cleveland Browns from First Energy Stadium in Cleveland in the Dog Pound on CBS. And on the call for this one, hello, friends. Jim Nantz, Tony Romo, Tracy Wolfson, they're going to be there. And I'm glad to announce that we're going to be getting this game on our CBS affiliate, WPRI 12. So we're going to get it. So. Yeah, and I'm very happy about that. I'm very happy with the games we're getting this week, especially after what we had today. They met earlier this season, and believe it or not, Cleveland actually went into Baltimore and hung up 40 on them.
Yep.
Yeah, so Cleveland put a whooping on the Ravens in Baltimore earlier this season. And with that win, the Browns did cut into to the Raven lead, but it's still a massive lead for the Ravens, though. Even with that loss, Baltimore is still with a commanding all-time series lead. It's now 30-11. In favor of them. Browns beat the Ravens in Cleveland last year. They won 12-9 in overtime, snapping a long home losing streak to the Ravens. But Ravens won there in 2017, 27-10. So that's all there is to say on that. When it comes to when it comes to games that MF will be leading off on, I'm just going to set it up for what's at stake here. So MF, Ravens can clinch home field advantage throughout the AFC playoffs with a win or losses by the Chiefs and the Patriots. If the Ravens lose and neither the Chiefs or Patriots lose, the Ravens will clinch at least the number 2 seed and thus a first round bye. The Browns, meanwhile, could have their thin playoff hopes officially dashed with a loss or with wins by either the Steelers or the Titans or by a Colts loss. Got all that, MF? All right. Ravens, Browns.
I gotta go with the Ravens on this one. They just been red hot. They've been the hottest team out there. They want the home field, and that's the ultimate thing. They want the home field advantage going into the playoffs. They want every team to have to go through Baltimore to get to the Super Bowl. So no doubt about it. The Ravens are the most complete team in the AFC. I know a lot of Patriot fans are rooting for Cleveland tomorrow, but I kind of feel like Baltimore is just a team that's just a far step better than any other team. Expect Lamar Jackson to continue his great run to possibly become the most valuable player in the league. I think Mark Ingram and that running attack will have a big game yet again. And plus, there's so much turmoil with Cleveland. There's even rumors now that Odell Beckham and Jarvis Landry are demanding to leave Cleveland. They want out. So, yeah. Oh, yeah. I heard this coming today. So,
wow.
There's some investigative reporting from yours truly. There's been some articles coming out saying that Landry and Odell Beckham are both demanding trades, that they both want out of Cleveland now. So we'll wait and see what happens in that situation. But I think the Ravens will win, and that should officially knock Cleveland out of the playoff mix. So nothing more to say. Anthony, it's yours.
I did forget to mention that the Ravens are 9.5-point favorites, by the way. So, Baltimore opening up as a 9.5-point favorite in this one, which is no surprise, really. But all that, with that being said, Ravens have home field advantage, as well as revenge from the early season loss to Cleveland to play for. The Browns essentially have nothing. This quickly could turn into a rather tense scene in front of a frustrated Cleveland fan base that could use this opportunity to voice its displeasure with, without question, the NFL's biggest disappointment. Browns allow a season-worst 280 yards rushing. Over the past 4 games, Baltimore has averaged a league-best 199.7 yards rushing, and Cleveland has given up 155.3 rushing yards a game, third worst in the league. Lamar Jackson and Mark Ingram will both record 100 yards rushing. Ravens have a league-leading 2,830 rushing yards this season, 772 more than the next closest team, San Francisco. Baltimore needs 335 more in their final 2 games to match the all-time single-season record of 3,165 rushing yards set by the 1978 New England Patriots. Cleveland is the second team in the Super Bowl era to be a double-digit home underdog to a team it beat by at least 14 points earlier in the season. The other time was in 1988 when Green Bay upset Minnesota 34-14 in Week 7, then won the Week 15 rematch 18-6 as a 10.5-point home underdog. Baltimore, overwhelming favorite, 78.5%. I'm going with the Baltimore Ravens. And you know what? I hate to do it, but I'm going to do it anyway. Initially, I was thinking this was going to be a close game, but you know what? After what the Browns did to them earlier this year, I wouldn't be surprised if the Ravens do it back to them. I think they're going to blow them out. I do. 41-16. Baltimore routs Cleveland. And Lamar Jackson will add to his MVP campaign. No doubt about that. All right. Which is good news for me because he's my fantasy quarterback. So I'm very happy about that. So that's my guy. So next up, we got the Carolina Panthers squaring off against the Indianapolis Colts from Lucas Oil Stadium in Indianapolis. Over on Fox, we got the legendary Dick Stockton with Mark Schlereth and Jennifer Hale. And Indy opening up as a 7.5-point favorite as well. Carolina, though, leads the all-time series 5-1. They last met in 2015 in Charlotte. Carolina won 29-26 in overtime. Last time they met in Indy was 2011. Carolina also won that one, 27-19. Colts have only beaten Carolina once, and that was in 2007. Colts went into Charlotte and put a whooping on them, 31-7. So they've never beat the Panthers at home. Never have. But I think this time maybe it might be different. So that's it there. And now let's get into this one. How will the Colts defense attack? Well, how will the Colts defense attack third-round quarterback Will Grier, who will lean heavily on Christian McCaffrey to help take some of the load off his shoulders? The opportunity to pass could be there for Grier because the Colts have given up 774 yards and 7 touchdowns on 64 of 79 passing the last 2 games. Grier will feed the ball to McCaffrey, to the tune of 11 catches for 105 yards and 2 touchdowns. Perhaps win his NFL debut and get the Pro Bowl running back within 81 receiving yards, of becoming the third player in NFL history to have 1,000 yards rushing and receiving in the same year. With 6 catches, McCaffrey would become the first running back with multiple 100 reception seasons in NFL history. And with 7, he would tie the second most receptions through a player's first 3 seasons in NFL history, behind New Orleans' Michael Thomas. Both teams eliminated from playoff contention. Panthers have a 60% chance of a top 10 draft pick and therefore have more incentive to lose. Quarterbacks making their first career starts are 9-2 against the spread this season, and QBs making their first or second career start are 18-5 against the spread. Indianapolis, a 70.2% favorite. A little bit of a tough one to call here, but I'm going to take a chance, and I'm going to go with Indianapolis to win this one. So I'm going to go with Indianapolis to win. My final score, 21-17. Nothing more to say. MF, your thoughts on Carolina and Indy?
Yeah, I'm gonna go with Indianapolis as well. I just, Carolina had a nice little story, everything else, but you could tell that they've just been falling apart. They're going the wrong way. I just don't see much about them doing anything more there. So I'm gonna go with Indianapolis. I think they're gonna finish out pretty strong. Nice little win here for them, and I got Indy winning. So Anthony, next game.
I hate to do it to you, MF, but you're going to be leading off on our next game, which ends up being the Zonk game of the week, at least for our side anyway. So there's
the Stink Bowl.
Yeah, oh yeah, we got two of them this week, and this is the first. This is the first one, and thankfully both of them are in the early window. So yeah, and thankfully we're not getting either of them. Hallelujah. So, but here you go. There's one on each side, but this is the one on our side. This is our Zonk game of the week, without a doubt. The Cincinnati Bengals / Bungles squaring off against the Miami Dolphins, Hard Rock Stadium, Miami, Florida, the home of the upcoming Super Bowl 54 in several weeks. Game on CBS, and on the call for that one will be Andrew Catalon, James Lofton, and Michael Grady. And it's so bad there's no spread for this.
Yeah,
this is an NA.
Yep.
This is basically a pick'em in a Zonk game. Go figure. But nonetheless, Miami, though, some encouraging news for MF. Miami does lead the all-time series with the Bungles 15-7. However, though, since he's won the last 2 meetings, including last year, since he beat the Dolphins 27-17 in Cincinnati last year. Their last meeting in Miami was 2013. Miami won that one 22-20 in overtime. Bengals last won in Miami. Oh yeah, the one year when it comes to the Dolphins that MF will not allow anyone to talk about, 2007. Sorry, I said it. 38-25. 38-25 since he beat Miami in Miami. That's the last time they did it. So that was in 07. So with all that being said, MF, Zonk game of the week, the Bungles. I mean, I'll tell you, they hung with the Pats for a little bit, but then they self-destructed in the second half. What else is new? And in Miami, I'll be honest with you. I really thought, no disrespect here, but I really thought your team was going to go 0 for this year. But somehow, they've gotten better, and I think I think they have a legitimate chance to win this one.
They got a legitimate chance to win, no doubt about it. But do you want to win? I think that's the big question. Because right now, Miami is sitting with the number 4 overall pick in the upcoming NFL draft. If they beat Cincinnati, they literally serve the number 1 overall pick on a silver platter to the Bengals, which means Joe Burrow, welcome to Cincinnati. Now, obviously, Miami wants a quarterback really bad. And Joe Burrow is right now consensus the number 1 overall pick in the upcoming draft, wherever that may be. The draft is going to be held. He's number 1. The question now becomes with Miami is, do you try to go and risk it all and try to go after Burrow? Or are you content with being at where you're at, number 4, where a win might actually be detrimental to your draft stock and might push you even further back, which now you start thinking, could you be out of play for Justin Herbert? Even though a lot of people believe that Tua Tagovailoa is still out there, and a lot of people in mock drafts actually has Miami taking Tua. So do you risk losing Tua by going further back in the draft with a win? It's kind of a catch-22 here. And the thing is that in this point in the game, can you afford it? Can you afford another win? You know, they could have beaten the Jets, lost. Could have beaten the Giants because the Giants aren't that good, and they lost pretty handily last week. Do you risk winning this game? Like I said, serving the silver platter and giving the number 1 pick to Cincinnati. If you're Cincinnati, you want to lose this game to solidify the fact that you would have the number 1 overall pick in the upcoming draft. You will have it, no doubt about it, if they win. If Miami wins, then Cincinnati will lock up number 1 overall in the upcoming draft. If you're Miami, do you let Cincy win this game? That drops you 1 game behind, knowing you got to play New England next week. And New England still has something to play for. That number 1, that first round bye is still out there for New England. So they still got to play regardless. So it's kind of a tough situation. If you're Miami, I would rather win the game, and I want to beat Cincinnati. At least this is our season finale, the last game in Miami for the season. I want to go out with a win, and I know Brian Flores has that mentality that we want to win this game. Everybody would say, oh, they're tanking. But the thing is that there's certain games out there that we should win that we have won. So it's kind of one of those is like, you know what? The heck with it. Let's go for it. Let's go to try to win out this game. If you're the Dolphins and the fans and the management, I can't believe I'm about to say this. You can't afford to win here. You actually got to throw this. As bad as Cincinnati is, and they're horrible, you got to let them win this game. Just for the mere fact that if you lose this game, you actually put yourself in an opportunity to get the number 2 overall pick in the draft. So it assures you more safety, better opportunity, and really you got nothing else you're really playing for. Now you're just playing for positioning in the upcoming draft. More than anything else. Maybe an outside shot at number 1, but you got to lose the final 2 games, and you got to let Cincinnati win. Oh, by the way, Florio, Cincinnati is a 2-point favorite. I just saw this. This is on ESPN. Cincinnati 2-point favorite, and the FPI has them as a slight favorite as well, 51-49. So I'm going to say it. I think Cincinnati steals it. I think Miami lays down and lets Cincinnati steal this game. Don't expect it to be high scoring. 13-10. Cincinnati beats Dolphins. Florio, it's yours.
Okay. All right. I understand where you're coming from, MF. So, anyways, the Bengals are in the driver's seat for the number 1 pick in the 2020 draft. A Dolphins win clinches the number 1 pick for Cincinnati, while likely moving Miami toward the back end of the top 5. Joe Mixon will run for a rush for 150 yards. The Bengals running back is on a hot streak, and the Dolphins are next to last in the league in rushing defense. So that backs up your argument, MF. Mixon has at least 125 rushing yards in consecutive games. No Bengals running back has ever recorded 3 straight such games. The Bengals are the overwhelming 81.5% favorite to select first in the 2020 draft, according to the FPI. Dolphins have a 6.9% chance of moving into that spot with a loss, but are currently projected to choose number 3. Miami has been the only team to be an underdog in every game this season. Brian Flores is the second coach to begin his career as an underdog in his first 15 career games in the past 10 years. Gus Bradley was an underdog in his first 30. So, NMF, as far as FPI goes, Cincinnati is the favorite, but it's 50.3%. That is ridiculously close. So I'm torn. I mean, my gut was telling me to go with Miami, honestly. But then again, you never know with Cincinnati. So I'm actually going to disagree here. I'm actually going to go with Miami to win this one. I just think Miami's the better team, honestly. So I'm going to go with Miami to win, and it's in Miami anyway. So I'm going to go with the Dolphins here. If I'm wrong on this, I'm wrong. Doesn't matter to me. So I'm going to go 14-10. How about that? 14-10. So that's all there is to say on that. So moving on now, back to a game that has somewhat of some playoff implications, staying on our side of the ledger. The Pittsburgh Steelers squaring off against the New York Jets from MetLife Stadium in East Rutherford, New Jersey. On CBS, Ian Eagle, Dan Fouts, Evan Washburn, they'll be there. Steelers opening up as 2.5-point favorites. And the Steelers lead the all-time series 18-5. That's dominance, 18-5. They last met in 2016 in Pittsburgh. Steelers won going away 31-13. Their last meeting in New York was 2014. Jets won that one 20-13. Steelers last won at the Jets in 2013, 19-6. So I believe I start off on this one. So yeah, here we are. Don't expect a lot of scoring. The Steelers are 4th in total defense and the Jets are 9th. The return of Pro Bowl safety Jamal Adams will spark the Jets, who will feel like visitors in their own stadium due to an anticipated invasion of Pittsburgh fans. Crowd noise could hurt the Jets offense, which will have a hard time blocking edge rushers TJ Watt and Bud Dupree. The Jets' Le'Veon Bell rushes for more yards than the Steelers' running backs. Despite dressing 5 backs and the return of James Conner, the Steelers ran the ball only 15 times last week against Buffalo. The Jets have the second best rushing defense in the NFL, making it even more difficult to run the ball this week. All 4 of Pittsburgh quarterback Devlin Hodges' interceptions last week were on passes more than 10 yards downfield, and he was just 4 out of 10 on such throws. What's at stake? Currently in the AFC's number 6 seed, the Steelers can neither clinch nor be eliminated from a playoff spot. And the Jets have an 88.8% chance to draft in the top 10, according to FPI, but only a 1.9% chance to move into the top 5. All 4 Hodges starts have gone under the total. Overall, 6 straight Pittsburgh games have gone under the total, with none of those games combining for more than 40 points. Pittsburgh, another slight FPI favorite, 52.3%. But nonetheless, I'm going with the Pittsburgh Steelers to win this game. My final score, 20-13. Pittsburgh steals one in the Meadowlands against the Jets. So MF Steelers holding on to that number 6 seed, and I think they'll take another step towards getting it here.
Yeah, I think so too. I think Pittsburgh should get the job done. They should win this game. There's really nothing more to add there. So Floyo, next game.
All right. Oh, this is going to be a good one here. And I'm glad to say that when it comes to the Fox side, this is the first half of the doubleheader, and we're getting this game. And I'm so happy because this is the Fox game, early game I wanted. The New Orleans Saints scoring off against the Tennessee Titans from Nissan Stadium in Nashville. Over on Fox, we got Kenny Albert, Rondé Barber, and Sarah Walsh. They'll have it. New Orleans opening up as a 2.5-point favorite. And in the series history between these two, it favors the Tennessee Titans. Tennessee leads the all-time series 8-5 with a tie. Their last meeting was 2015 in New Orleans. Titans won in overtime, 34-28, 5-star game there in the Superdome. They last met in Nashville in 2011. New Orleans won 22-17. Titans last beat the Saints at home in 2003. That was a 27-12 final. But nonetheless, MF, lot to get into here with this game. Drew Brees making history yet again with that epic performance last Monday night against Indy in that rout. I mean, unbelievable. But as far as this game is concerned, there's definitely some implications for both teams here. Saints, they need a win to maintain their best chance to elevate in the NFC standings, where they currently trail Seattle and Green Bay via tiebreakers. Titans will be eliminated from they're already eliminated from AFC South contention, but they will be with a loss. But they can neither clinch nor be eliminated from a playoff spot until next week. So a lot at stake for both teams. I mean, New Orleans trying for that one of the top spots in the NFC, whereas Tennessee, trying to,
just get in.
Yeah, I think it's between them and Pittsburgh, honestly. So New Orleans and Tennessee, MF, what a great matchup here.
Yeah, no, this is gonna be a great game, no doubt about it. I gotta say right now, it has to be New Orleans to win. But Tennessee's been really good. And the thing is, look, Ryan Tannehill, everybody's been saying, what was he going to be like? What was going to happen? The whole 9 yards? I'm going to say it. Tannehill looks comfortable in Tennessee. He feels right at home. He's playing absolutely lights out football. Probably one of the best he's ever played since early in his career with the Dolphins. Like, he's that good. And now the question becomes, is he the best? No. He's better than Marcus Mariota. It's his team now. So we'll have to wait and see what happens there. At the end of the day, I enjoy it. I like what I've seen. So, good game. But I don't know. Maybe New Orleans sneaks out, but I wouldn't be surprised if Tennessee steals this. So, New Orleans wins. Floyo, it's yours.
Yeah. Let me see. What do I have? The Titans secondary will be trying to find a way to slow down Saints receiver Michael Thomas, who could set the single-season receptions record of 143 if he catches 10 passes. The Titans will make zone and man coverage against New Orleans. When the Titans go man, expect Thomas to be double-teamed. Zone coverage against Drew Brees is asking for trouble. But maybe Tennessee's pass rush can get home to force a couple of bad throws and a rare interception. The Saints will hold Derrick Henry under 100 rushing yards, bringing their remarkable streak to 41 games without allowing a 100-yard rusher, including the playoffs. This could be their toughest test yet, though, since they placed two of their top defensive linemen on injured reserve last week, and because Henry is averaging a whopping 137 rushing yards over the last 5 games. And as MF mentioned about Ryan Tannehill, here you go, MF. Titans quarterback Ryan Tannehill has completed 71.5% of his passes this season. But according to NFL Next Gen stats, his expected completion percentage is 62.9%. He has the highest completion percentage above expectation for any quarterback with 100 attempts over the past 4 seasons, per NFL Next Gen stats. I already mentioned what's at stake. New Orleans has won and covered 5 straight road games over the past 2 seasons. New Orleans is 10-3 against the spread on the road. However, Tennessee is 4-2 outright as a home underdog under their coach Mike Vrabel. New Orleans, slight FPI favorite, 54.3%. But I agree with you, MF. I'm going with the New Orleans Saints. I think it's going to be a high-scoring game. I really do. I got New Orleans winning. I'm going to say 35-28. New Orleans beats Tennessee. Should be a fun game. I can't wait to see it. It's going to be great. And congratulations, Drew Brees, on once again making NFL history. I mean, with that epic performance against the Colts. I mean, have you ever seen a more perfect performance by any quarterback in history? My gosh, I mean, I think he only missed 1 pass. I think he was like, 29 out of 30? Unreal. Absolutely unreal. And he's only going to get better. That's all there is to say on that. In Tennessee, MF and I, we saw them last week against Houston. I mean, tough luck loss, but they're there. They're on the doorstep. So that's all there is to say there. So final early game. This is the other Stink Bowl, Zonk Bowl, whatever you want to call it. This is the Fox version of it. The New York Giants squaring off against the Washington Redskins, FedEx Field, Landover, Maryland. Over on Fox, we got Tom Brenneman, Chris Spielman, Shannon Spake. They will have it. Redskins opening up as a 1.5-point favorite. These two teams met earlier this season, and just I believe it was the Giants. Yeah, the Giants. The Giants won the previous meeting in the Meadowlands back in week number 4. Giants easy win. That was a 24-3 beatdown of the Redskins in week number 4. And that I believe the Giants lead the all-time series, and it adds to their lead. Oh, yes, it does. It's the Giants now lead the all-time series. Listen to this: 101-68 with 4 ties, including that win from this year. Giants actually won in Washington last year, 40-16. Redskins last beat the Giants at home the previous year, 2017. That was a 20-10 final. So I believe I start this one. So yeah, this is the other Zonk game of the week. This is the song game of the week on the NFC side. Which 3-11 team wants to win more or less? Both teams will make big changes in the offseason, and the loser of this game will be in far better draft position, possibly in the number 2 spot, where they might have a shot at Ohio State defensive end Chase Young. Dwayne Haskins and Daniel Jones combined for 5 touchdowns without a turnover. Call it a hunch. It would be something, though, considering the 2 rookies have combined for 30 turnovers this season. In a career day last week against the Eagles, Haskins threw for 104 yards and a touchdown on play action. Haskins also finished with 146 yards on throws of more than 10 yards downfield, a career high. The Giants want to preserve their current 91.5% chance to pick in the top 5 of the draft via the FPI, but the Redskins have a higher goal. They have a 5.2% chance to land the top pick if the Bengals surge. Washington has lost 8 straight division games, going 1-7 against the spread in that span. Giants slight favorite, 50.7%. But with this game being in Washington and considering that the Redskins have actually been playing somewhat better as of late, I mean, they gave Philly a run last week. And Haskins has been getting better. Adrian's been getting better. And McLaurin, that young receiver there, I like him. So I'm actually going to go with the Redskins to win this game. I'm going to go 23-21. Redskins beat the Giants. MF, how about it?
I agree. I think the Redskins will definitely get the job done with Terry McLaughlin. That's the guy you're talking about, Florio. Yeah, he's been killing it lately, man. Scary Terry's been killing it, putting up at least a couple of 100-yard performances and a touchdown or 2. Definitely something to keep an eye on, and I think they'll get the job done. Dwayne Haskins, look, regardless of how you feel about him, I think he's done pretty well. And yeah, I'm with you. So nothing more to say. Florio, it's yours.
All right. And we're going to move on. Yeah, we're going to move on now to the late games. And we'll start with the 4:05 games over on CBS. There's 2. And we're going to start off with a matchup featuring the Detroit Lions squaring off against the Denver Broncos. Sports Authority Field at Mile High over on CBS. And on the call for that one, it'll be Kevin Harlan, Rich Gannon, and Jay Feely. And the Broncos opening up as 6.5-point favorites. Denver leads the all-time series 7-5. They last met 2015 in Detroit. Broncos won 24-12. Their last meeting in Denver, 2011. Detroit went into Denver and put a whooping on the Broncos, 45-10. Broncos last beat the Lions at home in 2003. That was a 20-16 final. So nothing more to say here. MF, Detroit already announced that Matt Patricia will be returning as coach next season. But Denver, though, they've they've been getting better, especially Drew Lock. That could be a quarterback of the future right there.
Yeah, no doubt about it. Look, Drew Lock's been looking pretty good lately. No doubt about that. I can't disagree with anything that you just said there. So, I mean, Denver definitely has a shot to steal it. Will they steal it? I don't know. I think that's a tough, tall order to say the very least. But I think Denver is definitely looking a lot more better than they have in the last few weeks. We're just gonna have to wait and find out. I know one thing's for sure: it's gonna be an interesting game. So, I might go with Denver just because of that. But like I said, I don't know. We'll wait and see. Florio, it's yours.
With a Lions defense that has surrendered at least 275 yards passing 10 times this season and more than 400 yards twice in the past 5 games, expect the Broncos to let Drew Lock let it fly. The rookie Denver quarterback has attempted 28, 27, and 40 passes in his first 3 starts, and it's likely he'll throw early and often in this one. Lock throws for his second 300-yard game along with 2 touchdowns against a beat-up Lions defense. Against Detroit's porous pass defense, though, that might not be all that bold. Lions quarterback David Blah threw a touchdown on each of his first 2 drives as the starter, but now he has just 1 passing touchdown in the last 34 Detroit drives. Both teams are eliminated from the playoffs, but Lions coach Matt Patricia already knows he will return next year. There has been no official confirmation of Broncos coach Vic Fangio's future, but it has been presumed that he will get more than 1 year to turn around the Broncos. Detroit is 1-8 against the spread in its past 9 games and has lost 7 straight games outright. Denver, a 64.8% favorite. That's just about 65%. I'm going with the Denver Broncos to win this one. My final score, I'm going to go 27-14, Denver over Detroit. So not much more to say there. Moving on to our next matchup, the other 405 game. We got the Oakland Raiders squaring off against the Los Angeles Chargers. This will be at the StubHub Center in Carson City. Over on CBS, the legendary Greg Gumbel alongside Trent Green and the beautiful Melanie Collins. They met earlier this season, week number 9, I believe, in Oakland, and it was the Raiders. They knocked off the Chargers in that one, 26-24. So that was that. Let me just buff this tab here. Okay, slowing things down. Chargers opening up as 6.5-point favorites. So series history, there's a lot of history here. We just have to remember to add the win to the Charger total. Or I should say the Raider total, because the Raiders won the first meeting. And it adds to the Raiders lead because the Raiders lead the all-time series. You can add another one to that lead. Raiders now lead at 63-54 with 2 ties, including that win from this year. Chargers have won the last 5 meetings against the Raiders. I mean, actually, I'm so confused. It's been I'm footballed out today because I was, very much into all those games today. Forgive me there. Raiders 63-54-2. I said that. With that Raider win, it snapped a 4-game losing streak to the Chargers. So Raiders won there. Raiders have not won at the Chargers since 2016. That was a 19-16 final. Chargers have beaten the Raiders at home each of the last 2 years. So for all intents and purposes, I think they can do it again. I really do. The Chargers will play their final game in the team's temporary home in Carson, the 27,000-seat Dignity Health Sports Park, a.k.a. StubHub Center. While fans enjoyed the intimate setting and up-close view, the Chargers did not have a home field advantage, with opposing teams' fans regularly taking over the stadium. The Chargers in that venue were only 11-10. Wow, 11-10 at home since moving there 3 years ago. Eric Harris will pick off Phillip Rivers again. The Raiders safety got the Charger quarterback twice in the first meeting this season, including a 56-yard pick six, and could have had 2 more interceptions if not for a penalty and a tip pass. Rivers has 47 career passing touchdowns against the Raiders, and he can become the 5th quarterback with 50 passing touchdowns against a single opponent in NFL history. And listen to the names he would be joining. This is a very elite group here. He would join the likes of Tom Brady, Drew Brees, Eli Manning, and Brett Favre. All but eliminated from the AFC playoff race. The Raiders could make it official with a loss. It could also happen with wins by either the Steelers or Titans or a Colts loss. The Chargers need a loss to stay on track for a top 10 draft pick. FPI gives them a 60.6% chance to do it. LA is 0-4 against the spread and outright in division games, despite being favored in 3 of those games. Chargers, 72.7% favorites. That's about 73%. I'm going with the Chargers to get the win back here. A close game. I'm going to go 27-20, Chargers over the Raiders. MF, your thoughts?
Yeah, I agree. I think it's going to be a good game, no doubt about it. I don't know, man. I kind of feel like this is the Raiders' moment. I feel like the Raiders are going to win this game. I don't know why. I kind of lost faith with the Chargers, and it's because of Phillip Rivers. He hasn't been playing great at all. I just don't see a bounce back here. So I'm with you, Florio. I thought the Raiders let one get away yesterday, or I should say last week. I don't think they're going to let this one get away for them. I think they're going to win it. So give me the Raiders to win, and Anthony on to the next one.
And now we're going to move on to the 425 games. And oh my goodness, boys. I mean, first one. If this is not winner take all, I don't know what is. America's Game of the Week on Fox. And this game could be well significant as to who will win the NFC East this year. And it's only fitting the two men that MF and I have deemed their division will be calling this game. We got the Dallas Cowboys squaring off against the Philadelphia Eagles at Lincoln Financial Field in Philadelphia. On Fox, you know who's working it. Joe Buck, Troy Aikman, Aaron Andrews. They will be there for this highly anticipated NFC Eastern Division showdown, which very well could determine the division winner here. They met earlier this season in Dallas, and it was all Dallas in that one. Dallas put a whooping on the Eagles on that. I think that was a Sunday night game, if I'm not mistaken.
I believe so, yes.
It was back on October 20th. Dallas won going away 37-10, 37-10 beatdown in Jerry World. And it adds to Dallas's series lead. It's now 66-51 in favor of Dallas. That's now 4 in a row for the Cowboys against the Eagles. Dallas won in Philadelphia last year. As a matter of fact, Dallas has won in Philadelphia each of the last 2 years. So they got a 2-game winning streak in Philadelphia. Eagles haven't beaten the Cowboys at home since 2016. That was a 27-13 final. So there's really not much more to say here. MF, this one is pretty simple. The Cowboys can clinch the NFC East and eliminate the Eagles from playoff contention with a win. But an Eagles win shifts the race to next week. Next week, the Cowboys will be playing the Redskins, and the Eagles will be at the Giants. So, but that's if Philly wins. But MF, Dallas wins, they win the NFC East. Ugly division, and it's only fitting Buck and Aikman have it because we've always called this the Buck and Aikman division.
Yeah, and it is. It's a make or break moment. Look, at the end of the day, what are you looking for? What do you want? What is the grand scheme? What's the end game here? If you're Dallas, you just want to win. You gotta win this game. You win this game, you win the division, and it's all yours. You go into the postseason, and there's really nothing more to add. If you lose, though, you open the door for Philly. And oh my goodness, you want to talk about the pressure being on at that point. I don't know. I don't know what to think. Something tells me Dallas is going to win. Look, I just think they're the better team overall. And I don't want to be Max Kellerman. I don't want to be Max, start to think that, all this stuff in the whole 9 yards, I don't know how it's going to play out. but we'll have to see what happens. So we'll wait and see. But I got Dallas winning. So Anthony, I give it to you.
All right. Let me see. Eagles quarterback Carson Wentz leads the league in red zone touchdowns, 8 over the past 3 weeks, despite missing many of his top options. Dallas's defense, meanwhile, has yielded touchdowns on 70% of opponents' trips to the red zone over the past 3 games, a far more generous rate than their season average of 52%. Cowboys receiver Amari Cooper will have more than 100 receiving yards. It's meaningful because Cooper's numbers are not the same away from AT&T Stadium. He has just 23 catches for 296 yards and 3 touchdowns in 7 road games this season. On throws at least 15 yards downfield, Dallas quarterback Dak Prescott has become is among the league leaders in completion percentage, 52% third, yards per attempt 15 third, and touchdowns 14 first. Philadelphia is 0-2 at home as an underdog this season. It is 0-4 outright as a home underdog against Dallas since upsetting Dallas in 1999 as a 10-point underdog. Current coach Doug Peterson, he was Philly's starting quarterback in that game. Go figure. Dallas, 54.9% favorite. I agree, MF. I mean, after what Dallas did to the Rams last week, I mean, I had my doubts. I really had my doubts when it came to Dallas. I mean, and it made Derek Ferreira go on those hotline rants that he's become so infamous for here on this site. But, it is what it is. But nonetheless, I'm with you, MF. I'm going with Dallas to win this one. Would I be surprised if Philly won? Absolutely not. I really would not be. But I am going to go with Dallas. I think Dallas is the slightly better team here. I'm going with Dallas 24-21, close game. Dallas 24-21, and thus the Dallas Cowboys will once again win the NFC East. And that should keep us from a Derek hotline for a little bit, hopefully. The other 425 game, and I forgot to, I don't know if I mentioned this, but Dallas is a 1.5-point favorite in that game. So moving on, the other 425 game on Fox, and it will feature an NFC West Division matchup. With the Arizona Cardinals squaring off against the Seattle Seahawks from CenturyLink Field in Seattle. Over on Fox, we got Chris Myers with Daryl Moose Johnston and Laura Oakman. Seattle opening up as a 9.5-point favorite. They met earlier this season, back in week number 4. That's the theme of the week. A lot of rematches from week 4 this week. This is another one right here. Seattle won in Arizona, going away. That was a 27-10 final in favor of Seattle. And it adds to, well, actually, with that win by Seattle, the series is now even. It's now 20-20 with a tie. Seattle has now won 3 in a row against Arizona. And Seattle won. They won at home against Arizona last year, 27-24. Arizona last won in Seattle the year before, 2017. That was a 26-24 final. So with all that, let's get into to this one here. This NFC Western Division matchup here, and like I said, it doesn't matter what Seattle does. I mean, with that epic Niner win tonight, I mean, it sets up one hell of a winner-take-all game next week. Keep an eye on Seahawks linebacker Shaquem Griffin chasing Kyler Murray. Griffin has become a regular in the Seahawks pass rush rotation over the last 5 games, and Pete Carroll gave what seemed like a hint that he could factor heavily into this game because of how his speed matches with Adam Murray. Murray will throw for 2 touchdowns and run for another, while proving that the noise in Seattle is not too much for him. But the Seahawks will win, maybe on a last-second field goal. You never know. Murray has recorded 3,279 passing yards and 504 rushing yards this season. With 221 more passing yards, he would become the 6th different quarterback with 3,500 passing yards and 500 rushing yards in a season in NFL history. And he would join Carolina's Cam Newton in 2011 as the only rookies to do it. The Seahawks have clinched a playoff spot but need a victory to ensure the possibility that they can play the 49ers next week with the NFC West title and likely number 1 overall seed in the NFC in the balance. Arizona, on the other hand, is looking at the likelihood of a pick in the top 10 of the draft, according to FPI, with an 18.6% chance of moving up. Seattle has won only one game this season by more than 8 points. However, that lone double-digit win came in its Week 4 meeting against Arizona, winning 27-10 as a 5.5-point favorite. Seattle overwhelming favorite, 79.9%. That's basically 80% for Seattle. It's going to be closer than people think, but I'm going to go with Seattle in this one. I'm going to go 30-21. Seattle beats Arizona and sets up that epic winner-take-all with San Francisco next week. So, MF, how about it?
I agree. I'm going to go with Seattle as well. I don't think there's really anything more for me to add here. So yeah, I'm gonna go with Seattle, and that's really it. So, Anthony, it's yours.
Sunday Night Football, MF. Here we are. It's the number 3 game on our side of the ledger, and it should be a good one here. We got the Kansas City Chiefs squaring off against the Chicago Bears. Soldier Field in Chicago. Sunday Night Football on NBC. Al Michaels, Chris Collinsworth, Michelle Tafoya. Kansas City opening up as a 4.5-point favorite. Chicago, though, leads the all-time series 7-5. Their last meeting was 2015 in Kansas City. Chicago winning 18-17. Last meeting in Chicago was 2011. Kansas City won an ugly game 10-3. Bears haven't beaten the Chiefs at home since 2007. That was a 20-10 final. And MF, the Chiefs, they've won the AFC West, but their playoff seeding is far from settled. But the Bears were eliminated with their loss to Green Bay. But Kansas City, though, they won the division. Now they're just playing for seeding.
They're playing for seeding, and, there is an outside chance at the first round bye, but they would need some help. They would need a lot of help. They would need to win. Actually, what they would need to do is they would need to win out. Then they would need Houston to trip up, and they would need New England to some way, somehow lose to the Miami Dolphins next week in order to get the number 2 and a first round bye. So, I mean, it's tough, but I think Kansas City will get the job done. I think they'll win this game, and I really got nothing more to add there. So, Anthony, it's yours.
All right. It's Mitchell Trubisky versus Patrick Mahomes. The battle of quarterbacks tomorrow night means nothing to Chiefs fans. In Chicago, it means everything. The last thing the Bears want is a 3-hour primetime infomercial focused on how the Bears messed up by drafting Trubisky over Mahomes and Deshaun Watson in 2017. Terrell Suggs will get a sack in his Chiefs debut. The Chiefs are down 2 of their top defensive ends because of injuries, so they need T. Sizzle to step in and play a significant role. He'll get his chances to sack Trubisky. Trubisky has 5 straight games with an interception, the longest active streak in the NFL. Over the past 3 seasons, Chicago is 6-1-1 against the spread as a home underdog with 4 outright wins. Kansas City, 71.8% FPI favorite. That's about 72%. I'm with you again, MF. I agree. Kansas City, they should go into Chicago and beat the Bears, no problem. I'm going to say 27-17, Kansas City over Chicago. So if I'm going to be honest with you, I think they're going to get the number 3 spot. I really do. So that's just my projection. And now we wrap it up with the season finale of Monday Night Football. And oh boy, Monday Night Football, you're going out with a bang. Oh my goodness. Oh, what a game we got here. You can make an argument this is the game of the week in the NFC right here. The Green Bay Packers squaring off against the Minnesota Vikings. US Bank Stadium, Minneapolis, Minnesota. Monday Night Football on ESPN. Season finale of it. Joe Tessitore, Booger McFarland, Lisa Salters. These 2 teams met back in week number 2 in Lambeau. Green Bay won that game by a count of 21-16. And it adds to their lead in this series. And, well, believe it or not, Minnesota is actually opening up as a 3.5-point favorite. So 3.5 point spread for Minnesota in this one. So let's get to the all-time history here. Add the Green Bay win to the total, and Green Bay now leads the all-time series with Minnesota 60-53 with 3 ties. And, well, when it came to the game in Minnesota last year, Minnesota won. Matter of fact, Minnesota's won the last 3 meetings at home against the Packers. The Packers have not won in Minnesota since 2015. That was a 30-13 final that year. But since then, Minnesota has won each of the last 3 meetings at home against the Packers. So that's definitely encouraging for them. So here we go. Minnesota running back Dalvin Cook is unlikely to play, according to league sources. And backup Alexander Madison's status for Week 16 is unclear. If the Vikings want to keep their running game going, they might have to go through Mike Boone, Minnesota's number 3 back, who ran for 56 yards and 2 touchdowns against the Chargers. Vikings quarterback Kirk Cousins is 0-8 on Monday Night Football, the worst record by any quarterback, according to the Elias Sports Bureau. And Green Bay's Aaron Rodgers has won his past 5 starts on Monday Night Football. Both of those streaks will halt at US Bank Stadium, where Rodgers has more broken collarbones than victories. The Vikings have been great at minimizing running backs and tight ends in the passing game. When defending those 2 positions, opponents have the 3rd lowest total QBR, 41, the lowest completion percentage, 67, the 2nd fewest yards per attempt, 5.9, and the lowest TD to INT ratio, 0.71. But when defending wide receivers, opponents have the highest total QBR, 93, the 6th highest completion percentage, 68, the 14th most yards per attempt, 8.4, and the 8th highest TD to INT ratio, 2.6. And what's at stake here? It's very simple. The Packers can clinch the NFC North title with a victory, while the Vikings secured a playoff spot with the Rams' Saturday night loss. If the Vikings win, the NFC North race moves into next week when Minnesota hosts Chicago and Green Bay goes to Detroit. Since joining Minnesota, Cousins is 13-3 against the spread as a single-digit favorite, including 8-1 against the spread at home. However, Cousins is 0-8 outright and against the spread on Monday Night Football. Minnesota, 68.1% favorite, according to the FPI. And with this game being in Minnesota, I got a feeling Dalvin Cook might go. And if he does go, then I can be a little more confident. But nonetheless, I got this feeling about Minnesota, and especially after what they did against the Chargers last week, especially that defense. Oof. I'm actually going to go with Minnesota. 27-24. I think the game lives up to the hype. I think it's going to be a 5-star. I think it's going to be Shakespearean drama. So what a great way for Monday Night Football to close out their 50th season. You want to close it out with a bang? There's how you do it, with a practical, almost pseudo winner-take-all matchup. So 27-24, Minnesota over Green Bay. So MF, it's simple. Green Bay, they win the division. If Minnesota wins, then it comes down to their divisional games next week.
Yeah, and if I'm Minnesota, I'm feeling pretty darn good right about now because, like you said, they got into the playoffs. They're in. They're locked. So now it's just go out there and try to win the division. Try to knock down Green Bay, take them out, and try to win this division. So, no, I like what I've seen, and, it's been an incredible run for them. So, but I'm with you. But the thing is, Mike Boone, he's going to be fine. He had over 100 yards last week, had a couple of touchdowns in, when he had to do the mop-up work. So I think he's going to have a big game. And plus, it's at home in Minnesota at that field, and that's a fast track. Anthony, I'm going to go with Minnesota to win. I got nothing more to say. We're done.
All right. So that will put the bow on this special Saturday night edition of what should have been NFL Thursday, but I had a special commitment beyond my control the other night. It went a little longer than I thought, so we had to push the show back to tonight. So I'm very glad we were able to do that. So 27-24 Minnesota over Green Bay. So MF, it's simple. Green Bay, they win the division. If Minnesota wins, then it comes down to their divisional games next week. All right. So next week on this program, it'll be all about the divisional matchups, but we'll get into that in just a little bit. But all right. So here's the schedule for this week. Monday night, we will have Ridiculously Raw. We will review the taped edition of Monday Night Raw from Des Moines, Iowa, which will be headlined by Seth Rollins and Rey Mysterio for the United States Heavyweight Championship. There will be only one thing on my Tony's Take this week. It'll be all about Impact Wrestling. There will not be a 205 Live review because they're on a hiatus right now. So that's that. That'll be on Monday. No Wednesday Night Mayhem on Wednesday because it's Christmas and because of the fact AEW will not be airing a show and NXT will be airing a taped show, I think. So, and besides, it's Christmas anyway. So no show Wednesday. We'll be back with you after that on Thursday with at a very special start time, 9 p.m. Eastern. Is that correct, MF?
That is correct.
Okay, 9 p.m. Thursday night. It's going to be this show, but we're going to have a big show here. In addition to the Week 17 divisional games, we will also be previewing beforehand the New Year's 6 bowl games, including the 2 college football playoff semifinal matchups, Oklahoma and LSU, and Ohio State and Clemson, and, of course, the other 4 big New Year's bowl games, including the Rose Bowl, the Orange Bowl, and so much more. So we'll get into that on Thursday. Friday, Cerebral Smack Talk. We'll be reviewing Friday Night SmackDown, the final SmackDown of the year, which features that big triple threat match with Daniel Bryan, The Miz, and King Corbin. Winner of that match will challenge The Fiend, Bray Wyatt, for the Universal Championship at the Royal Rumble. We'll get into all of that on Friday, and then back to business as usual after that. So that's it. So until Monday night for Ridiculously Raw, it's Anthony Florio here for good old MF Michael Fletcher, and in spirit, Michael Bullock, Didi Woodson, and always and forever, Derek Ferrera. You know the routine, everybody. Thumbs up. Talk to you later. Yeah, Total Fortune 4 style. Bye for now, my friends. God bless. Be good to each other. Have a blessed rest of your weekend and Monday. And until Monday night for Ridiculously Raw, you've been watching the special Saturday night edition of Strictly Sports NFL Thursday, Week 16, right here on the Tone 25 on YouTube.com and on StreamYard.com as well. For everybody who has been a part of this one, for now, Anthony Florio, so long, and bye, everybody, bye.